Join our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Flow949FM. And now, introducing our YouTube channel, Flow949.
Flow 94.9 FM News now at noon. My name is Michael. Only the headlines. Federal government accuses suspended CJN of frustrating high-profile crimes. President Buhari signs executive order aimed at improving road infrastructure. World Bank to retool technical schools in Abia State. Another foreign saying hundreds missing after Brazil dam collapse. The details shortly. We begin this afternoon in Abuja, where President Muhammadu Buhari has suspended the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onohe. Following the suspension, the most senior justice of the Supreme Court, who hails from Bauchi State, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, has been appointed as the acting CJN. Announcing the decision in Abuja, the president said his administration will maintain zero tolerance to corruption, no matter who is involved.
The essential question of whether the accused Chief Justice actually has a case to answer has been lost in the squabble over the form and nature of his trial. This should not be so. If justice cannot be done, and clearly seen to be done, society itself is at risk of the most unimaginable chaos.
He declared that the embattled Chief Justice of Nigeria has orchestrated the failure of the government to secure conviction on high-profile corruption cases.
It is no secret that this government is dissatisfied with the alarm rate in which the Supreme Court of Nigeria, under the oversight of Justice Walter, has serially set free persons accused of the most dire acts of corruption, often on mere technicalities. And after quite a number of them have been convicted by the trial and appellate courts.
The chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Idse Sage, has defended the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onohe, who is facing charges for alleged fraudulent asset declaration. Speaking on the constitutionality of the suspension, Sage, in a telephone interview, said Buhari was legally empowered to suspend Onohe.
Nigeria is operating the rule of law at the highest level, because the rule of law has very many answers. One of them is that the law reigns supreme over any action. And secondly, that nobody is above the law. Now, if such an action is being brought against the Chief Justice of Nigeria, who is head of an arm of government, it means that the rule of law in Nigeria knows no limit.
However, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is calling on the National Assembly to immediately reconvene and proceed with legislative actions against President Muhammadu Buhari for gross misconduct. The party, through its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Olobodiyan, said that the president's action in attempting to unilaterally appoint the Chief Justice is a direct invitation to anarchy, national confusion, and a monumental crisis capable of derailing the Nigeria's democracy.
The People's Democratic Party rejects in totality the action of Mr. President to create justices of Nigeria for one singular office. It's totally unacceptable, and the party will not accept it. We hereby call on the National Assembly to immediately call for a resumption, because we are in a moment of crisis in our nation, and the National Assembly has to come in to intervene. So we invite the National Assembly to resume from their leave and come in, and they must also institute every legislative instrument that guides gross misconduct of a sitting president.
In another development, Umahia-based constitutional lawyer and human rights activist Ladu Martins believes the action of the president will not stand the test of time. Speaking with Flow FM News, Martins said the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria was reminiscent on the scenario that played out in Abia State Judiciary and the reaction of the National Judicial Council, NJC.
I I just want to refer you to the case of Abia State when the National Assembly purportedly suspended Chief Judge of Abia State and sworn in Justice Obisike Orji. The matter went to the NJC, and the NJC on that basis decided to make recommendation for the compulsory retirement of Justice Obisike Orji on the ground that he shouldn't have allowed himself to be sworn in as the acting Chief Judge. So the present man that has been sworn in as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria knows that this very action should be taken against him at the NJC.
President Muhammadu Buhari has signed an executive order aimed at improving road infrastructure across the country. The executive order, known as Executive Order 7 of 2019 on the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme, is designed to develop and deliver public-private partnerships with notable investors so as to close the road infrastructure gap in the transportation sector. Performing the signing ceremony at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, the president said under the arrangement, 19 eligible road projects are to be undertaken by 6 leading manufacturing and construction firms located in 11 states and in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. And back home in Abia State, the Abia State has been designated as focal state in the southeast for World Bank collaboration of retotaling the technical schools in Nigeria. The governor, Okezie Ikpeazu, confirmed this in an interaction with selected journalists in Umuahia and said the collaboration would involve the private sector, the Ministry of Education, and the World Bank to produce purpose-built students.
What it means is that we are going to begin to produce purpose-built students that will find job will be looking for them actually. Because there's going to be a collaboration between Abia State Ministry of Education, the private sector, and the World Bank to mount the kind of programs in our schools where Julius Berger will be part of training of construction, people in skills in construction. Samsung will be part of training for students that are interested in electronics. And at the end of the day, there is no way the graduates of electronics from our technical schools will not be absorbed by Samsung.
The Nigeria Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has embarked on a raid of black spots in Abia State, retrieving illicit drugs such as cocaine, tramadol, and 8 locally made guns, among others. The NDLEA commander in Abia State, Bamidele Akingbade, at the agency's office in Umuahia, said that the operation was to make it impossible for residents, especially the youth, to indulge in violent behavior before, during, and after the elections. Akingbade added that the action of the command was hinged on the premise that there was a thin line between violence, hence the necessity to nip the incessant sale and use of hard drugs so as to keep the atmosphere peaceful. In politics, the Federal High Court in Abuja has affirmed the Uche Oga as the duly nominated candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in the 2019 governorship election in Abia State. In the ruling, Justice Anule Chikere held that the primary conducted by the party's national executive is valid and recognized by the Section 87 of the Electoral Act, and as such, the one that produced Oga was the only recognized one. The counsel to Uche Oga, Chijoke Udogu, bears his mind on the judgment.
The court was asked to determine 2 main issues. Who is the go-back candidate of APC for Abia State? Secondly, which organ of the party is legally permitted to conduct primaries to nominate go-back candidates in a given state? The court looked at the decision of the Supreme Court in Emenike against PDP. The court, by the principle of stare decisis, said that it is the national executive of the party, as held by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, that is legally recognized and empowered and permitted. And the National Executive of APC conducted primaries in Abia State on 2nd of October, which produced